Good morning. Welcome to 5 Minutes or More with the Script Mentor. This is the Script Mentor and your host, Gino Scala. This is number 167. As promised, we're going to go over the poll question I asked last week. As a screenwriter or author or other writing creative, what do you consider to believe is the most important part of the writing process? That was the question, and the three responses were story, concept, having it look professional, and writing what I know. Well, as expected, it broke down at, we had over 2,500 views, which is extremely well for a poll question for such a limited audience. The 85% chose story or concept, 14% chose writing what I know, and 2% chose having it look professional. And that's sort of what I expected and exactly why I asked this question. All the consultants and screenwriting services out there and the self-proclaimed gurus, they'll all tell you it's all about story, it's all about concept. Well, true. If you can come up with a story, another Star Wars story, Star Wars-like story, or Jaws story, chances are that'll be produced into a movie. Now, what do I mean by that? Star Wars, when that came out, that was the first of its kind. The wars in space and good and evil and all of that. It was the first major movie dealing with that kind of subject in that kind of realm. Jaws, 1975, was the first type of movie. Now, they had monster movies before, but this was the first type of movie that A, involved sharks, B, that involved the public to that extent, and really a movie where the creature itself was rarely seen. So there were a lot of firsts for those movies, and since that time, people are trying to duplicate those movies, those stories. I mean, how many stories have you seen where the mayor wants to keep the beach open, but there's something out in the water and, the sheriff or some oceanographer or someone along those lines is telling them you have to close it to save the townspeople. I mean, I've seen hundreds of movies like that since Jaws. So chances are you're not going to come up with such an original concept that you should bank on your entire writing career trying to come up with that one concept to be successful. You don't have to. Okay? Listen to what I'm about to tell you, because this is my personal belief and this is something that I strive for. You can have the most unique concept since Star Wars or Jaws, and if it's poorly written, badly formatted, looks sloppy, grammar and spelling is atrocious, no one is going to know what that concept is because no one's going to read beyond 3 pages. That's just a fact. Conversely, you can have a somewhat formula movie with a concept, let's say a mafia story, crime gangsters or something along those lines, something we've all quite familiar with, something we've seen before. But if it's well written, well formatted, perfect spelling, perfect grammar, title page is perfect, the formatting is perfect, there's a very good chance that screenplay is going to go up the ladder and eventually purchased or produced. So I'm trying to change your mindset to not overly concern yourself with the story part and rather concern yourself with the appearance of the screenplay. Okay? I'm telling you, it worked for me, and it'll work for you. I have taken people with screenplays that were, generally good writing, but they paid me to read it all the way through. I wouldn't have read it all the way through on my own because it was terribly written in, as far as format and structure and things of that nature. Once we got that cleaned up, they did well in competitions, won several, and eventually were optioned or purchased. Okay? There's a long list of those through my clients. So I want you to start thinking in terms of making it look more professional and less about coming up with that great twist ending or, a great new concept about something we've never heard before. Ideally, of course, you'll have both. Okay? You will eventually get to the place where you're writing both. Something extremely unique, but in a professional manner. And let me tell you, that's the home run. That's the sweet spot that you're looking for. As far as writing what you know, well, not everybody was a homicide detective. Not everybody puts out fires. Not everybody was in the towers at 9/11. So, those are interesting stories, obviously, and that life will provide interesting material. So but it's not necessarily about what you know. I mean, most of the screenplays out there are written by people that have no experience in that, in whatever world they created. So it's part of your imagination. What would it be like if, until someone else comes along and says, no, I lived that life. Being a spy, an international spy, is not like this at all. What we used to say in police work is, it's 99% boredom and 1% of sheer terror. Try writing that in a screenplay. They're not going to be interested in the 99% boredom. It's the 1% sheer terror that they're interested in. So it's not going to be exactly as one might imagine. So writing what you know is a good tip to get you started. It generally a lot of screenwriters will start off with something that they know, something that they experience, and that's good. That gets them into the storytelling mood. Eventually, you'll get to the point where you're, these are fictional stories, or you're writing about someone else's life and things of that nature. But please start thinking about story and concept on a lesser scale and concentrate more on the actual formatting and the writing part, because that is what's going to get you further in the game. Okay? That'll conclude number 167. Please look for a new poll question that'll come out today and in your LinkedIn feed, and hopefully it'll have just as much draw just as much as attention and eyes and votes, and we'll talk about the results of that one next Tuesday. So thank you and have a great day.